You have some type of bearing noise. And you decided that you're going to attack this, you're going to do this yourself. There's a few different types of wheel bearings. You have the packable type that are not as common anymore, that's why we don't have any here today. There's the bolt-in style that are pretty easy to remove, but we're talking about the press-in style, where the actual wheel bearing, when you press it out, the race is going to get stuck to the hub. The race is on there so tight that it seems like it's part of the hub, but they are removable. We're going to show you a few methods of how you can DIY this at home and how the professionals do it in a shop. An easy method would be to get a kit from 1aauto.com that comes with the hub separate, then you don't have to worry about taking the race off. Even easier than that is buying the whole assembly. I feel like this is the best option for doing this at home. You're gonna get the hub, the bearing, the knuckle all together. It's gonna save you a lot of time. Before you take your knuckle out so that you can get it apart, you wanna order your parts from 1aauto.com where you can get them fast, simple, and convenient. Now let's get this apart. Now this method is how most people would do this at home. We have the knuckle supported on the side and we're gonna press out the hub. What you want to do is use a socket or something that you can hit in the center that's smaller than the size of the hub right there. So we're just going to use a punch and a hammer. And it's starting to move. Hasn't come out yet, but you can see it's a little bit more out. There we go. That's even further. I think I got one more hit, then it's gonna fall out. There it is. That came out. And you can see that the race came out with it. There's the race. That's a method you could use to take the hub out at home. Professionals are going to use a press. Now that we have this apart, you can see the race is not coming off. I can't just pull it off with my fingers. You might think, oh, I could cut it off. Maybe you want to use a reciprocating saw. I personally don't think that's the best method, but let's give it a try. You want to take the hub and put it in a vise so it's secure, so it doesn't move around while you're trying to cut it. When you're putting this in the vise, you want to be aware if you have studs to not clamp down on the studs. You're going to end up ruining those. So clamp down on the side and just snug it up, not too tight. That's secure. Didn't even make a dent. Not everyone has a vise, so you could use some pieces of wood or even pieces of metal to prop it up so that it doesn't move around while you're cutting it. Yeah, we've done more damage than good. That's not gonna work. I didn't think this was gonna work. This is a poor idea. Don't do this method. There's easier ways to do this. Now we're going to try using a cutoff wheel. We just want to get the race. We don't want to hit the hub. It is a little bit tricky with the angle on here, but we'll do the best we can. And with a chisel, I'm going to try to separate this. It's ideal if you can get it to crack just where you made the cut, because then it should slide right off. There we go. Got that off. But you can see we actually nicked the hub a little bit. Now that's not too bad, but if you dug in there a little deeper, then you've ruined the hub. There's the seal right there, right there. So that's not great. You don't necessarily want to do that. Another method that a professional is going to do is use a puller. And you can see different races have different designs. This one doesn't really have a lip on the end, so you would have to put it underneath at the base, whereas this one has a little bit of a lip. So if you put a puller on here, you should be able to grip that and just pull it off. There we go. It came right off. Not too bad. And here's another trick that a professional is going to use. We're going to heat it up. I'm just going to use an induction heater. Just have it upside down. So the race is just going to fall down. That way worked really good. You can see the race got really hot and the hub didn't get ruined. It didn't even change colors, so it didn't even heat up. So it works good, but it took a little bit of time. Let's do it a little quicker. For this method, we're gonna actually use the torch. Now, not everyone has a torch at home. We wanna heat up the race. We're gonna put this on here. We're gonna spin it. Use the correct tip. We're using a cutting tip that gets it a little hotter. Make sure you wear the correct protection, eye protection. These are made for using the cutting torch. So let's get this going. See how fast that was? That method works really well. This hub isn't even hot and the race is still pretty warm. But even faster than that, you can get a kit that comes with a new hub. You don't have to worry about the race at all. And an even easier method would be replacing the whole assembly. It's going to save you a lot of time, and you can get that and other automotive parts at 1AAuto.com.